Ahoy, mateys! 'Tis I, Captain Horatio Honeyflakes, and I be here to tell you about me newest crowdfunding campaign. The adventures continue with me crew, the Mighty Mascots, in issues 7, 8, and 9. Just focus your looking glass on the amazing artwork of Ian Warianto and Anton Bondi. Me crew, the Mighty Mascots, are up against some scurvy scallywags, and we need ye help to defeat them. There be a bounty of exclusive treasure, only available here, where X marks the spot. I spy a huge coffer of bonuses and stretch goals on the horizon. Then please consider pledging so we can continue these adventures with the weirdest crew I ever had the pleasure of sailing with. Mascots Unleashed!
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Indie Comics Relay. I'm your host, Keith Gleason, creator of the Mighty Mascots. With me, as always, Johnny C., creator of Sartana and Surrounded by Death. What's up, buddy? How's it going?
What's up, man? I'm doing double duty this week on YouTube.
What's going on?
I was just on Nerds of the Round last night.
Oh, nice. I'm supposed to be... Actually, I was talking to Sebastian today. So he's going to come on. So we're going to be doing like a bunch of weeks starting this week up like for
we're
the
breaking
next
our
month
rules this week.
We are. We're going to be doing like weekly for a little while, which I'm sure the audience is happy about that. But Sebastian is going to come on with the Wayward Raven guys.
Yep.
I forget what the week is, but 2 weeks after that, he's coming back with Nerds of the Round. So we're going to have all those guys on the show too.
Yep.
So that's going to be great, man.
They have a new member since the last time they came on. So it's Sebastian, it's Law, it's Tone, and they have Val now too.
Oh, nice. Very cool.
And there was a creator, her name was Lori, who has a really cool zombie book, The Pale Rider, I think it's called.
Okay.
Remember, or The Pale of the Rider, something like that. But a real cool concept. It's live on Kickstarter right now. And I told her, I was like, look, we'd love to have you on the show sometime. So you might have her for maybe after the new year or something.
Okay, yeah. And speaking of that, yeah, everyone out there, we're thinking of moving the show to Tuesday nights starting in 2023. So hopefully, like that, I feel like that probably will be a better move for us. I constantly think we're running into a lot of live streams on Wednesday, and I love having the audience here with us watching live, so we get the comments, we get the questions, all that fun stuff is always great.
Not that we lack it right now per se, but I think there's a lot of live streams happening on Wednesday nights, so I think
I think we're gonna we'll still butt heads with people on Tuesdays, but it might not be as much. It's not a perfect night unless you stream at like 4 a.m. That's the only time you're gonna not run. But then you might run into people overseas that are streaming at that time. So I don't know. So I don't think there's anything winning. But I wanted to talk to you really quick. Up front that we were just at a really cool convention this past weekend, and those are like, I often talk about like conventions that are, if you're just starting out in the indie comics world, these are the perfect shows, wouldn't you say, Johnny? It was like it was a show at a library that was local to us. Well, not local to Johnny, but local to me. It was about a half-hour ride for me, and then about an hour for Johnny.
Hour and some change, yeah.
It was an hour and some change. Okay.
Yeah, not too bad.
But the show was free to the public. They had about maybe 20 tables with artists and a couple of comic dealers.
I think there was like 8 creators that were featured and limited to only 8 creators, but there was other tables and comic shops. And look, going into the show, I didn't really have a lot of hope in the sense that I'm going to do really well at the show. And I was really, really surprised at how well I did at the show.
Yeah,
so
and sometimes those shows are hidden gems because, well, the other great thing about it was, we were offered the tables for free, which that's always a blessing. But usually, like those library shows, they usually will charge you something, but it's always usually very low if they do charge. But this was a nice one that I think everybody was there for free, which is great. And we all made a little money, which is awesome. And we had, local people that probably would never come to a convention in Boston to see us. So it was like, we sold some books, we made some new fans. We actually did a panel together. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was fun. Gary Henderson and Chris from Hero Shack.
Yeah. Chris and Diana from Hero Shack who threw the show, and those guys are awesome.
Yeah.
And
big shout out to Hero Shack. Big shout out to the Athol Library. And big shout out to the princesses that were on site.
Yes. You could have got those digits, man.
I could have gotten those digits from those princesses. I would have checked off a bucket list item.
Yeah, right. Well, maybe you'll see him at another convention,
What's that?
So maybe you'll see him at another convention,
Perhaps. Or maybe they'll have it again next year. And
yeah, I hope so. I hope so. And we don't have enough of those shows, like just pure comics and very small and free and, I don't know. I loved it. So big shout out to those guys. We had a blast. So I definitely wanted to talk about it for a few minutes. And it's funny, they usually do their show this night on Wednesday too, so we're competing with them too.
Right. Well, and we'll get Chris on at some point on here too, I'm sure, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. And then also I want to take a look. So the campaign ended for Mighty Mascots this week on Monday. So I, 155 backers, 7,200 or almost 7,300. I was at like 75, but then there's they're having issues with one of the back, like some of the funds or something on one of the backers. So I might lose that, which kind of sucks. But
how does that work with Indiegogo taking the money right away?
Yeah, that's what blew me away, because I got an email about it, and I was like, oh, really? I thought they took the money, right away, but maybe they didn't in this case. I don't know.
Maybe the person's card's been defaulting the whole time, but
could be.
Or something. But who knows?
Yeah, so besides that, whether that gets resolved or not, I still think it's a success, and the campaign is still open in demand, which is always nice. That's the one thing I like about Indiegogo.
And we got our eye patches, right?
Yes, everyone got the eye patches unlocked. I put it over here, so everyone gets an eye patch and everyone gets the collectible cereal box. Now, if we get to 10,000 before all 3 issues are in the can, everyone will get a temporary tattoo, which will be awesome.
Oh, cool!
So that's the next stretch goal at 10,000, which we could do. Issue 7's completely done. Issue 8, where Ian is done about. I want to say about 12 pages so far. So we're about halfway done issue 8 too. So we're
nice.
We're I'm hoping by the end of the year I'll have them done, and then I can get them printed and start fulfilling.
Yeah.
So we'll see. It all depends on when Alterna goes to press and all that crap. So.
Yep.
But no, I'm looking forward to it, man. So everyone out there, if you haven't backed, it's still available in demand, and it will be until probably I finish. Issue 8 and issue 9, and then once I finish those and go to press, I'll probably close out the campaign, or I may leave it open. I don't know. I could probably leave it open if I wanted to. I don't know.
You never know. You might just get that much more traction in time.
Yeah. You always get the drips and drabs. So that's cool. Anything out in your neck of the woods, Johnny, going on? Or
well, I booked my flight today. I'm a guest at Spooky Empire happening
nice.
At the end of the month. So from the 20th to the 23rd, I'll be in Orlando, Florida.
Spooky Empire. That's a horror convention, right? Comic book convention.
Yep.
Oh, nice.
So come on down, see me there. I'm still not sure if I'm going to make it this Friday night to Twins Pub on 9th Ave in New York City. It's New York Comic Con this weekend. I didn't make it into the show, but I'm thinking about trying to make it to this networking event.
Later after con, right?
It is an awesome time. Lots of awesome creators there. There's actually creators who are one of our guests, and I've met before at this networking event.
Oh, cool. Very cool.
I highly recommend it. If you're going to be going to New York Comic Con, go to Twins Pub on 9th. Tell them Johnny C sent you. Maybe I'll see you there. Maybe not. I don't know.
It's 50-50. Well, yeah.
50 on me right now.
Well, even if Johnny's not there, it'll be a good experience to hang out with other creators, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of like being on the show, I guess, you know. Before we bring in the guest tonight, just want to say hello to the chat real quick. We got Ara with us.
Ara, thank you for being here.
What's
Ara.
up, buddy? Good to see you. Of course, we got my wife, as always.
Hey, Amy. Amy, you don't want to have gardener problems.
Yeah. And Beth's in the chat. Can't wait for issue 7, 8, 9. Which you like to make fun of. Let me see. Oh yeah, look at this. Ara says every week. Yes, please. Well, you know, me and Johnny like our little breaks, but you know, when we have cool people that we love, you know, we
there's a lot of cool people out there.
We can't like kind of close the door, you know.
Yes, just to have all the people in, you know what I mean? And I think it's made for a great show. You know, it's kind of an open discussion forum kind of thing. But like, you know, if we segmented it every week with individualized guests, like we'd be backlogged forever, you know?
Yeah, right. Exactly. Sometimes you gotta put your foot down, you know. But let's see. That show also had pretty princesses.
Yeah, I was looking for a dragon rider.
Yeah. Ara says I'll try to go to the Athol show next year if they have it. Yeah, you should, man. It was a lot of fun. I think you'd like it, you know. It's free. It's you wouldn't have any you would have a good time, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Roger Morocco, don't forget me. Yeah, we can. Roger, what's up, man? Good to see you here.
I name dropped Roger the last episode because he hooked me up with that awesome copy of Name.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, so thank you again, Roger. Thank you, cousin.
Oh, look at this. Harry's with us too. Special Halloween ICR.
Are we on Halloween? Are we?
We might be. Well, Halloween is on a Monday, right? So it would probably be the day, 2 days after that or the week before that. I'm sure we are. I'd have to pull up the schedule, but we might be. I mean, I'm not going to wear a costume. I don't know. Maybe I'll put a Halloween decoration behind me or something. That's about as festive as I'll get. Maybe. Yeah, right. And Amy said, "I'll be kicking some Godna ass."
Godna ass, kid. Fucking wicked.
So what we're talking about is when we went out to eat after the show at the Athol show on Saturday night, and we were at a Chinese restaurant, and we ran into one of the, I guess, locals.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say? And I don't know if he was trying to have a pissing contest with Johnny, but Johnny just. You diffused it perfectly, you know. Like
some people underestimate me, and then some people are like intimidated, so they have to like, either challenge me. It's like prison rules, you know what I mean?
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. But anyways, all right. So we said hello to the chat. Everybody. We got 3 guests tonight. So let's. I'm gonna start with the first one I see in my window here. It's Paul. Paul, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. How y'all doing tonight?
Thanks for coming on,
Good, man. Great to have you here. Let me bring all the other guys in, and then we'll start the second one. Dan Price, what's up, Dan? Thanks for joining us.
Y'all?
Thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks
Good to be here.
On.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, definitely. And then finally, Tony James. Hey, Tony. Hey. Good to see you, man.
Tony.
Awesome. Hey, good job on that 5-question segment. I think that came out great. And that's the first time we did it. For all of you out there watching, we did a video series where we started a video series called 5 Questions with a Creator. And we started it last week. And our first experiment was Tony, our guinea pig,
It passed with flying colors.
It was great.
Thank you.
This is also an alternative for creators out there. If you can't get on the live stream with us, that's an option for you as well. But gentlemen, I think this is the first time we've had all 3 of you on. Usually we have repeat guests, but I think you guys are all newcomers, which is great.
You guys are all new guests, I believe.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Yes.
So the first question I always ask our creators when they come on, and we'll go around the room, is I always am fascinated with the origin of people and how they got into making comics and things like that. Like, so I'm always fascinated by what was your first experience with comics? Was it like what was your first comic book or movie or TV that got you on this path to wanting to be a creator? Let's start with Paul first, I guess.
Well, I collected comics since I was about a teenager. The first one that really had a major impact, I think, was an X-Men annual. I kind of fell in love with the character Bishop. He was in one of the last stories, but it really caught me that he was so out of place in this mutant world and human world that I connected with them, and I had to have every issue. And from there,
he's a great character. Bishop is awesome. Yeah, I always loved the M. You know, like the M he had on his face. I don't know. I don't know if that was just a creative thing, but I always loved it. It made him look cool as hell. Would you remember what annual that was?
You know, I really don't. I do know that it was right after his debut, so it was, you know, in that 90s period. Yeah. And
I was in and out of the X-Men, so I'm not terrible. Johnny, do you know what issue that is?
I feel like it was late 80s or early, you know, somewhere mid 90s.
Yeah.
No, maybe not mid 90s, but like definitely like early or mid 80s.
Like 90.
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah.
I think it was when they split, when they had the two teams, and it was like right then.
It was Jim Lee and all that.
Jim Lee and Will Spartasio, they split the teams. Like Spartasio took in
so that was like definitely early 90s. I think.
So I started collecting then and started back collecting and just everything else. Friends started having different comic books, you know, and I just jumped into the world.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's great. And you know, it's funny, Johnny, like a lot of creators, when we asked what their first, a lot of them were X-Men or X-Men related, which is kind of cool. Just shows you how much power the mutants had back then, you know?
I think a lot of us discover comics in our adolescence, and like that X-Men speaks directly to that. You know what I mean?
I agree.
So I think that's why that's a really good connecting point. But I mean, I'm the same way. I was X-Men, and then like that was like, you know, not long after that, I was, you know, that kicked open the door for other things, and you know, and then I was like, oh, indie comics, and I was like, oh,
right, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, from there, you know.
How are you, Tony? What was your first comic or movie or TV show that kind of got you on this path to wanting to become a comic creator?
My mom picked me up an omnibus of the Death and Return of Superman.
I
didn't know anything about the storyline or anything like that. Just like here's this big book. And I just love this. I just love the story. I just love the big scope feel of it. I love all the different iterations of Superman. I thought Superboy had one of the coolest looks ever.
Yeah,
I love the leather jacket and him playing basketball. So ever since then, I've been wanting to write stories that have that kind of big scope to it, just like that.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I remember when that was out too. Like I was actively collecting all those issues, and you're right. It had a big scope. And I think it changed a lot of events from there on, you know, like a lot of comics were trying to be that after. But I also loved like the little things they did, like when they brought all those, like the Superboy and the cyborg Superman. And I love that they did that mystery, like who is the real Superman, you know, and all that stuff. Yeah. Great stuff.
That was one of the first times, to my recollection, where comics really broke out of its own medium and into like the news. Like you actually saw comic books on the news that night.
Yeah, right.
You know
that was a
like,
huge thing. Yeah,
you don't see that often, and I think rarely since. The only other time I remember seeing like a news story on like comic book stuff was like Civil War and Unmasking of Spider-Man.
You know whenever Robin died. That was
Robin died. That was a huge one too. That's with the Robin phone where you had to call in and stuff.
Yeah, that's right.
Everybody wanted that bastard dead. I remember that. But and then how about you, Dan? What was your first experience with anything?
It was 1986, Marvel's 25th anniversary year that they had the covers with the head in the middle and all the characters.
Oh yeah, I love those covers.
Yeah, those are amazing. Yeah. But the first comics I bought was Marvel Saga number 8, which is a reprint book that they ran for maybe like 25, 35 issues, but it went through the history of Marvel. It broken down into pieces, like just segments of like Tales of Suspense 39, or just showing like crucial stuff that you'd need to know to get into Marvel comics at that time.
Yeah, sampler, Marvel sampler.
It was great. It was really well done. and I picked up Marvel Universe number 8, which was, like just that, the write-ups of all the characters and the stats and all that. That was a letdown, honestly, when you're like wanting to read comics and it was just standing there. And then the one that was like awesome as hell that day was Uncanny X-Men 207. I think it was the one where Silvestri, or I think Silvestri or Romita Jr. did it. But it was Wolverine ripping through the cover.
Oh yeah. That's
and
right.
So those were I was 8 years old, 10 years old, something like that, 10 years old. And I was younger than that because anyway, whatever, I don't know. Maybe it wasn't the 25th anniversary, but I was a kid, rode my bike to the convenience store, picked up the comics. My dad, I came home with comics, and my dad was like, "You're into comics?" I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "All right, let's go. We're collecting." And like took me to like the flea market. There was like there was like a one store, Bills, and it had like Golden Age, Silver Age books and real high priced items. And then there was Big John's Funny Farm that you bought all your new books at. And so that was how I got into reading comics.
Now, was your father a comic fan too?
Yeah, when he was a kid, he was. So he was into it then, and so this was somebody. He ruined it because like he had me like have to bag and board, and then like he made me keep like a ledger with all my books in it.
Oh,
and,
so
like,
he was on the collector. He was like that collector.
guy. And I was more interested in the art and the story and all that stuff.
Right.
And
I always felt like and that was I was there in the '90s when all that was pretty running rampant,
The thing that killed the industry, pretty much. Like 7 covers, newsstand, hologram. Like, yeah. Hold on, we have to sell off all of our characters to movie studios to survive.
Right.
Well, I always told because I had friends that were getting into collecting, and they would always come with me to the store, and they would always go like, "Do you think this one will be worth money?" And they'll grab a number 1, and I'm like, "Dude, I don't know." Like, I was like, you gotta love reading them first and foremost, and then if it becomes collectible, that's a benefit, But they never could kind of wrap their head around that. They were all about like, "Is this gonna be worth money?" And it was just like, and then they always would fall out of collecting within like a month or two, because they just didn't have the love for comics, so.
Well, that and things were overprinted, so they'd never see a return of their profit, right? Like, when Shadowhawk number 1 is printed like a million times over.
Turok number 1.
Oh yeah.
The Turok number 1 with the chromium cover and the what was it, Deathmate Red? I mean, those books, and then Superman 500. Those just books that just kill.
Yeah, you go to any 50-cent bin, they're right there for you.
They were so
I've got at least 50 like Punisher Warzone number 1s around here somewhere.
Right? Oh my god, I'm having flashbacks to those times.
Right.
But yeah, so and how did you gentlemen like? How did you make the transition from being a fan to making a comic? Is it
where did you find your creative spirit?
Yeah, I'd say let's start with Paul. Have you been making comics for a long time, or is it?
No, as a matter of fact, I just started. I consider myself a rookie, so I've only started about less than a year ago. Whenever everything hit, I lost my job. My kids were out of school. There was some serious health issues that kind of hit us as well, and we were all stuck at the house, and everybody was a little depressed. So I wanted to do something to motivate my family and try to pick up the morale in the house. So we started every other day getting together in a room and just sitting around in a circle like a think tank, writing out stories.
Really?
I had just introduced my twins into comics, and they were just 13. And they're like, "Why not make these into comics?" I started doing some research and talking to comic book artists, and they started telling me, if you really want to make a serious comic that's going to be on a bookshelf, these are kind of the steps to do it. And like I said, I think it was it was 11 months ago, I think, today.
Wow.
That
cool,
we really
dude.
just took off with it. It stalled my first book, and I kind of doubled down and got my second book, which is the first one that came out. And it did so well that it really helped fund the other 3 books that came out.
Dude,
Wow.
That's awesome, Paul.
That's really awesome, man.
That's a first that I've heard is like, like a family gets, like you all got together. So
that is awesome.
It is. It's amazing.
That's so awesome.
So is like your family credited in the book as well, like as writers and stuff, or is
not so much as writers. I did dedicate the book that they helped me write, which was Booshie Boo Circus Mysteries.
Let me make you big there.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, okay.
And that's the first one that I started writing, and it was supposed to come out first, but I had interior artists that dropped out. So the second one that I wrote on my own without my family's help was PTSD, because I wanted to talk about mental illness and awareness, because we were dealing with a whole bunch of it. And I wanted to kind of get a story out there that helped other people talk about it, because we were having difficulty as well.
Oh, so that's awesome. I commend you for that.
Thank you. Yeah, so we put those two books out, and PTSD really, really just kind of hit. And like I said, it helped fund my other three books, and it's been a roller coaster ride this entire year.
So do you have the bug? Like you're like, are you considered like now it's in your blood, right? You can't give it up.
yeah. At first I didn't have any scripts until we sat down and started writing stories, and now I think I got like 6 scripts on the shelf that I'm waiting. And
it's awesome.
My Booshie Boo series that I wrote with my kids, I want to do 12 issues of, and my last campaign was my issue 2. So
awesome, dude. Yeah, well, I found your Kickstarter, so I'll show it definitely. And if you have any other links you can, you want me to share, definitely put them in the private chat.
And you guys all actually have campaigns either coming up very soon or running currently, right?
Yeah, I pulled up everything, so hopefully we'll show them all at the end.
We'll feature everything.
Yeah, definitely. But how about you, Tony? Like, how did you kind of make that transition from a fan to a writer in comics?
Well, I've been writing in some form since I was a little kid. I was obsessed with Garfield, so I would be making these like knockoff Garfield books that I would write.
Me too. I started that way. Like I wanted to be a cartoonist. You did too, Dan? Yeah, that's great. And you used to draw and like write your own.
So
I did the same thing.
Yeah, I would do that, and then I kind of moved away. Like in high school, college, I was like writing short films and stuff, and then I started to kind of find my way back to comics, and read the Scott McCloud books, the Will Eisner books, and really just was really fascinated by the storytelling medium of comics. So I wanted to, as an adult, transition back, and then I wrote a cyberpunk comic about a virtual reality bounty hunter, which was also successful on Kickstarter.
Oh, cool.
And that was, and I've been writing ever since. Yeah.
Awesome. So when was that first book? Was that like
that book was 2015.
Oh wow.
Yeah, okay. and then once the pandemic hit, I wrote a bunch of different stories. Like whatever wild idea I had, it was just like throw it up there, write it, 300 pages. The next one, 300 pages. Next
oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. So now I have like a big stack of stuff that I have.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah. That's great. That's awesome. That's how it starts. So you're a fairly new creator as well. Then like you were writing. Yeah. But you were doing other things, and it's funny how like film kind of goes in and out with comics too. Like I think Johnny and then me as well. Like we worked in film a little bit too before we found comics, and kind of came back.
Because film's hard work, man. Not to say that comics aren't, but like shooting an independent film on no budget is like hard sweat equity level work.
And you can't do it alone. You need like a whole crew that's like as dedicated as you, and it's like it's a whole thing. How about you, Dan? How did you make that transition?
When Image popped in 1992, I liked comics already, and I was already drawing and doing all that stuff. But when you got to make your own comic with your own characters, your own intellectual property, you get to be the one who calls all the shots on your book. Chef's kiss. I'm in. No holds barred. I did my first comic stuff for a small studio out of Houston, like in 93, 94. They started up in the back of a comic book store, not far from where I grew up. And like I would go there, and all the guys who were working on the books, I was the kid hanging out, you know what I mean? And so they teach you things and, erase all this crap and fill in the blacks and, learn to color. I'm using markers and, Dr. Martin's inks, I mean, trying to color and not screw this, beautiful piece of artwork up. And so they offered me my own book when I was a freshman in college. They offered me my own book, and unfortunately the studio went belly up like, a couple months later. And so there went that dream. And I was already being pissy anyway, so I just decided, screw it. And I didn't make a comic book until I was 30. And I took, that was like 30. So it was like 12 years later. I finally said, I need to make a comic book. And so this is like 2007. And I did my first series, Latex Avenger. Here's a copy of one of the books.
Yeah, let me take
and he's got a sidekick.
Yeah,
he's got a sidekick spermicidal foam lad right there. Together they recall crime 99.9% of the time. So
that's great.
I did.
That's funny stuff.
Great.
Thanks, man. I love. It's a superhero satire, Family Guy on steroids up to 11. You know what I mean? It's just ridiculous.
That's funny as hell, dude.
Yeah, so I did like about 7 or 8 issues of that book, small stories and then like larger issues. The small ones were called quickies, and just the short books. And then like we had the ultimate, I don't know, the mega quickie or something like that collected all this stuff. But and Conquest to Astonish, things like that. So I did that, and then I did a book for Hound Comics. It was called Masters of the Obvious. It was like they liked Latex Avenger, but it was, he wore a rubber on his head, like the reservoir tip of freedom. He didn't have that. And get rid of sperm lightning on his chest. They didn't like the sperm logo. They didn't like all that. And so they were like, get rid of all that shit. Pardon my language. And can I cuss?
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Get rid of that shit. And I said, yeah, we're not doing all that. So I had another project I was putting together, and so my artist on Latex Avenger and I started Masters of the Obvious. It was a sci-fi space parody. You had characters like Dr. Biclops. He had 2 eyes. The Visible Woman, you can't miss her. LeBron the Snapping Turtle, don't make him snap. You wouldn't like him when they snapped.
Yeah.
And they flew around in a battle toaster. You remember the old screensavers with the toasters flying?
Yeah,
they flew around in a battle toaster called the USS Screensaver. And they had pop culture adventures throughout the galaxy. So, they fought like Darth Redenbacher and like the My Little Jabronis, just shit like that. So did that. Then I did a thing for the Stan Lee Foundation and POW Entertainment. It was called Excelsior, The Uphill Adventures of a Boy Named Stanley. Okay. Did that, and it was like a Y7 project with heavy a lot of editor and lawyer interference, which was cool. I took it because of that reason. Never had that before. Had that experience, done with that experience. And, look, Stan Lee tweeted my comic every week. That's pretty cool.
Just to work for like Stan Lee is amazing.
Yeah, that was really cool. So, but after that, I took a break. And so for like 7 years, I was raising a family. Bond, my artist at the time, he actually passed away. So a lot of things had happened during the course of the 7 years. And during the pandemic, I'll go with I'm a rookie because I'm starting over. You know what I mean? That's how I feel about it. During the pandemic, my wife said, why don't you, get back to doing comics? And she had no idea what she was getting herself into.
Some people think you just like throw these things together and they just happen. They don't realize.
Very few significant others truly like understand.
Exactly.
Encourage,
She's a sport, man. I mean, she is totally supportive. I'm sure it drives her nuts sometimes, but during last year I released Bigfoot Knows Karate with my co-writer Casey Allen, and so we've been doing that. We did the first issue, came out on Kickstarter last October, and now we got Bigfoot Chapter 2, Born Under a Bad Sign. Hit Kickstarter October 12th, so that's awesome. That catches you up.
Yeah.
I can't wait for the second volume. I haven't read Tony's work or Paul's work yet, but Bigfoot Knows Karate was one of my absolute favorite books to come out of this, doing the show. And of all, you know what I mean? It was just so good, so awesome. Such a cliffhanger ending. I can't wait for the next volume.
That's awesome.
Thank you so much. Yeah, y'all had Casey on last year. I was out of town on business. And so my dog's running down the stairs. Sorry.
Oh, it's all right.
It was we had a great time with that campaign. I'm glad you enjoyed it. We had thank you. We had a lot of fun doing that book, and I'm glad people are enjoying it, because when you do a book where a guy has a rubber on his head, you get a lot of like eye rolls and like funky glances and shit. So very cool that people are digging it. So thank you all very much.
That's great. And it's actually looking at all three of your books. You guys all kind of have like something that's kind of I don't want to say out there, but like something that's kind of outside of the box than normal.
It's non-traditional. It's very unique. You know what I mean? Like Tony's like Star Noir is like such a very specific. I mean, it takes a concept that kind of reminds me of Alien Nation a little bit. Just like it's like, you know, alien and like human, but like doing detective work. You know what I mean?
No, I love
That's the vibe I get from all the artwork and everything I've seen about it. You know.
Yeah, definitely. It's got it's very cool mixing of genres there. And then Paul, yours is about a circus, which is interesting because what's the premise behind that? Is it like?
Well, I tell people it's Scooby-Doo meets Criminal Minds. And
oh wow! Okay.
Gonna follow, you know, a little bit more mature Scooby-Doo. You got these three apprentices in a circus. They're solving crimes, and a little bit of those crimes are.
So is it the circus like? You know, like employees that solve the crime, or is it
the three apprentices in the circus? That are solving the crime. The main one is a tiger trainer, Zahara, and then there's two brothers, Lance, who's the ringmaster for the first time in the first issue, and then Luke, who just doesn't know where he belongs yet, and he's trying to find his destiny in the circus itself.
That's such a interesting mix of, you know, like Scooby-Doo and meets the circus, you know, like It's interesting. Are you a big fan of like you know, Barnum and Bailey and all that, or is it
to tell you the truth, like I said, it was with me and my kids sat down. They wanted to do something that was like Buffy the Vampire Slayer or like Harry Potter, and whenever they were like, "Can we do these?" I was like, "They've already been done. We got to find a new way to do it." Get an ensemble cast, and we had watched The Greatest Showman around that time period.
Oh, okay.
And so they're like, let's put a circus and then an ensemble cast and see what we can play around with.
Oh, okay. Now I can kind of see how it clicked there. Yeah, that's interesting. That's awesome.
The Greatest Showman was kind of an inspiration there in that regard.
Yeah, it was really one of my kids who kind of brought that idea up of the circus, because he was really more into he was watching that show a few times a day kind of thing while that was happening.
It's interesting too, because like I think like nowadays, is there even any circuses left? I don't think so, right? Like they all kind of gone away, right?
Cirque du Soleil, right?
I think that's probably what the closest thing. There you go, Paul. There's another plot line for you. Yeah, the circus versus Cirque du Soleil. You know.
Yeah.
And, I was just saying, Tony.
4 and 5.
Yeah, there you go.
I said, Tony, if you can, let's get a proper pitch for the audience on Star Noir.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it is about a 1940s detective who teams up with a gray alien to stop a shapeshifter who is killing LAPD officers inside Central Station. It's like a Chinatown meets the X-Files.
Love it.
So dope.
It combines two of my favorite genres, the classic 1940s, you know, that glamorized nostalgia, the three-piece suits, the rapid-fire dialogue. And then a big influential show for me growing up was The X-Files. And what I loved was just the creepy atmosphere of every alien encounter and how they took those real world abduction stories and kind of wove it into their own original narrative. And it kind of gave you this kind of grounded view of aliens. And I thought it would be a really interesting mashup to take that matter-of-fact world of the 1940s and a matter-of-fact portrayal of aliens and sort of mash them together.
Yeah, no, I like that. The artwork I've seen is awesome too. The way the alien's drawn and the detective guy too. Are you is there other, like I know you said it in the 5-question video. It was your detective was sort of based on was it Dashiell Hammond? Was it or
it's more Philip Marlowe.
Philip Marlowe, yeah, and I love that. I love that era of like noir too. Like, is there other noir that was influenced? Like, anything modern that you like?
Well,
Chinatown,
the video game LA Noir.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Love that game.
Yeah, it's a great game.
Yeah, what I loved about that game was just how you were, you as the audience, you were poring over each clue, and you were also trying to figure out, which people were lying based on certain tells. And both of those aspects are actually in Star Noir. Like when people are telling a story to the detective, they look away, they add too much information to their story. And so as you as the reader, before the detective says, oh, they're lying, you're saying he's not telling the truth. So yeah, it was it's fun to bring some of that detective work into the book.
Awesome. I'd like to recommend two noir movies that you may enjoy. The kind of modern that kind of gone under the radar. First one is Under the Silver Lake with Andrew Garfield. I don't know if you've seen that. That one's kind of like a hipster noir. Okay. It's interesting. I like that one a lot. And then another one, and I know Johnny's seen that I would highly recommend that no one's seen, Kid Detective.
Oh, Kid Detective's awesome.
Yeah, great movie. Seek both of those out. I think you'd love them. They're like two independent movies that are just no one knows about them really. No one's really seen them, but if you're a noir fan, you'll love them. I think.
Yeah. Kid Detective's awesome. It's a more comedic version of Brick. I don't know if you've ever seen Rian Johnson's Brick, which is also a modernized noir. Yeah. It's like take that, but just make it funny, and then that's Kid Detective for sure.
Okay. Yeah, that's great.
Right. Yeah.
So that book looks cool, and I definitely. How many days are left on that? Because
I'm down to the last 7.
7 days. Okay, good. Because I want to back it before the campaign ends, and then also Dan, are you gonna be adding the first issue of Bigfoot? On the campaign as well, because I want to. I missed it the first time around, but I definitely want to support you guys.
I'm actually doing an early bird as well. If you pick up 1 and 2, you get it for like a cheaper price in the first 48 hours.
Oh, that's cool. Like that. All right, so, I'll be on the watch. I'll put myself on the notify, so when I see you go. Awesome. When are you planning on going live?
October 12th, a week from tonight.
Great. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so 7:00. We're doing an Instagram live launch. So we did this for the last campaign too. And myself and Christopher Michaels from Crit, we're going to launch our books at the same time. So we're going to invite people in, come hang out. If y'all are on Instagram, please come hang out with us and jump into the live for a few minutes and promote your books and, talk up some Bigfoot Knows Karate, a little Crit. We'll chop it up a little bit and, just enjoy it. It worked really well the last time. I mean, I'm sorry to totally derail here, but
I'm fascinated by the whole Instagram thing because I had
Instagram's been great to me. What we did was we did the live launch last time, and it was myself and Casey Allen, my co-writer, and we got in at 6:30, and at 7 we pressed the button to go live. We've been pumping this thing up for like a month.
Now, do you guys have a lot of Instagram followers between the two?
I mean, I've got Casey does not too active on Instagram. I've got currently I have about 2,700 and change. But they're engaged. You know what I mean? That's the big thing is I posted something today, but it's got it was. Maybe 80 something likes, but it's got 21 comments or something like that, so people are chatting and that's the big thing,
That's great.
So the live launch, how it works is, when you go live, all your Instagram followers are alerted that you're going live. And so when you bring somebody else into the live, all their followers are alerted that they're live. So you can have up to 4 people in an Instagram live. Well, you got 4 people who all have decent pull from their followers. Now you've built an audience. Okay,
is it kind of like this where they're interacting live with you and
so they can interact in the chat, and then the 4 of us will be talking, and we bring people in 5-10 minutes, and they, like I said, they chop it up about their projects, and then we talk about our stuff a bit, and and then just cross-pollinate the audiences. That's the biggest thing, because then you're able to you'll see growth in your followers, you'll see growth in that type of thing. We ended up having 200, I think it was 209 people watch that live stream that night.
Wow.
And it was
wow, man, that's impressive.
My wife's asking, is it weird when you bring people in?
Yeah, we kind of know some folks that we're going to be bringing in already. We don't just, we bring in other creators and stuff that we've invited to come along. So when they jump into the live, we bring them in for a little bit. So it works out great. I mean, I do a lot of live streams, I do live draws and stuff like that on Instagram. And so, I'll just set the camera up right here and I'll just draw with my fingertip like I do and just do that. But yeah, the live stream was so helpful because like we had $1,000 goal on the first campaign and we funded that in 7 minutes. All right.
So, wow.
Yeah.
Awesome,
so,
dude.
and then in the end of the night,
no, but this is good stuff. Like, cause I don't think I've ever had anybody come on that's done like an Instagram live to fund their book. And it's like,
yeah.
So it might, that might be a good thing for anybody watching out there that, might want to have that takeaway, to try that.
Pro tip kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Cause I know we have another friend that's been on the show, Enrique Lopez, and I think he does a show on Instagram as well. Like, so it seems to be like a good alternative to like YouTube or, whatever live streams are out there.
It's
Twitch
accessible,
and things like that.
It's accessible because it's right there. All you have to do is just set up your camera, hit the live button, and you're going.
Right. And everyone's got their phone on them.
Right.
So, yeah.
And I do it like, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning. I'll start drawing and I'll just put on my live and like people from Ireland will sit and watch me because they're all awake,
cool.
And so anyway, I mean, yeah, Instagram's treated this project and myself really well. Casey too, Instagram's been great to us, and Twitter.
That's awesome.
I'm starting to use Twitter, so figuring it out.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
No, these I was gonna say is are you also the artist on the book?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. I really like the art style too. Like
Thanks.
The one thing I told Casey last time, it reminds me a lot of like is it Jendi Tartovsky? Is that how you say his name?
Oh yeah, the guy he did
Primal
Symbiotic
and-
Titan, Samurai Jack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear that a lot. So
Samurai Jack vibes from the book.
I hear that a lot. Totally take it as a compliment because this work's incredible. I don't have like a knowledge base of his work. I've seen Samurai Jack for like 20 minutes. Like when my nephew was 5, he's like now 26 and works for Blizzard or something, So like it's been a minute. But like when I see his work, I love it. I hear that a lot, and I get a lot of. I even got fan art that had Bigfoot Knows Karate and Kung Fu Thulu with Samurai Jack and whatever the big bad is. And
Aki, I think I forget his name.
I highly recommend Primal. It's 2 seasons on HBO Max.
Okay, I've heard of it.
It's Jendi Tartovsky, but like even from if you're just a writer, like the stories on there's not a like a word of dialogue. It's all done through action and like it's amazing what they accomplished in those 2 seasons. So I highly recommend that. Like, and I had a lot more respect for him after seeing that.
What got me hooked was not Samurai Jack, but Symbiotic Titan. That show got me absolutely hooked on just him as a creator.
Okay.
That art style, everything. I love
that. Was a little ahead of its time too. I think if that came out now, that would have been a huge hit.
Yeah, I highly recommend Symbiotic Titan.
That's the first time I've heard of that one. I'll have to check it out.
Are they both available, Johnny, on like HBO? I know. I think Samurai Jack is, and I know Primal is, but I don't know about Symbiotic.
That one's tough because it's a Cartoon Network, and they buried that show because they couldn't make toys or they couldn't sell toys or whatever. But it really was just awesome. If you do a little like mouth hunting on YouTube, you can find a playlist with all the episodes,
Yeah, that's awesome.
Or if you know somebody with a Plex server.
Yeah. Awesome. And yeah, so that's great. I think you guys all have very interesting books, very different books, like I think it's exciting. Like I love seeing like stuff like that, I think we should definitely show some of these
let's fire it up.
Definitely. All right, let me see here. Let me share my screen. And we'll start with, looks like I have Booshie Boo Circus Mysteries up first, which it was a Kickstarter that you just did recently, Paul, right?
Yeah, it just ended, yeah.
Oh, it ended already?
Yeah.
But you're planning on doing another one, you told me, though, right?
I am, and we had to kind of move it back. I didn't know if I was going to go into issue 3 or start another title.
Okay.
Being brand new, I kind of wanted to cut my teeth on a few different titles, but this is the one that's really been grabbing everyone's attention.
Really? Okay. I wonder if it's a circus thing, like, because it's, like you don't, like I said, you don't see circuses anymore, and the Scooby-Doo thing, you got to think, like, Scooby-Doo's been around since what, the 60s?
Right.
There's something there, like, there's something there with the mystery and the, the Hanna-Barbera, all that fun stuff,
And instead of having a dog there, Scooby-Doo, I've got two tigers, twin tigers, who's the tiger trainer's pets.
Oh,
really.
cool.
So it's kind of like you got this girl who's kind of fearless because she's got these two bodyguards as tigers right there.
I gotta say too, like, where did you find your artist?
Yes, I hired out. Originally I was trying to get a team that was all local here in Texas because I had lost my job. And I wanted to get other people who, to help them out as well. But my first interior artist kind of fell out, and my second and third as well. And we found these kind of overseas, and they've been great. Gabe and Brian have been great with it. The colors just pop out.
Is this their work right here?
Yes.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. My artists for Mighty Mascots both my artists and colorists are overseas. They're both
my colorist is overseas as well.
A lot of those guys are looking for work. So
beautiful, sharp lines and bright.
Oh my God,
colors.
The storytelling's awesome. Yeah. These guys look like they've definitely been in the industry for a while. Like the artwork looks great. This looks like a fun book.
Question for you, Paul.
Yes.
How do you know McLean McGuire?
McLean McGuire is actually one of the first people that I met in this industry. He was at a local comic book store, and the owner introduced me to him. And
Was it Titan Moon Comics?
No. It's in my hometown of Fort Worth, Texas. Is actually past time, right down in Watauga. He was visiting Chris Hayes, and he introduced me to him because he knew I was looking for a letterer, and I actually suffer from dyslexia. Me and my twins do. So I was looking for a letterer who I could definitely let them understand that I needed something that could be read just cleanly, and his beautiful letters was exactly what I was looking for.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
So McLean, he lives here in Austin where I live. And so I've known McLean since 2007.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like, his group CCP. I was at the very first CCP meeting back when it was still Capstone Connection or something like that.
Yeah.
And went to that. Yeah, I mean, I hadn't seen him in years, but we bumped into each other at Comic Palooza recently. Small world, man. Sorry, just wanted to say that.
No problem. That's
the reason why I bring him up.
Saw karate was on his table. He actually showed it to me, so it was like kind of definitely small.
Does he do your lettering, Dan? Too?
No. I do my own lettering. He had it. Where was this at? Comic Palooza?
No, he. Oh man, it was a while back. He had brought it to me to show me.
Are you sure it's not Savage Sasquatch? Because he letters that book from Wes Hartman.
Well, I know I've seen that one as well.
Okay.
I think I'm sure I've seen yours.
Okay.
And
right on.
Yeah.
Getting out there, Dan.
He was just showing me different styles and different things. Because like I said, I'm brand new to this. So whenever I go into a different book, because Booshie Boo was my second book that I had out. PTSD is the first one. And then this is my fourth one. My issue 2 is my fourth book that I came out with. Cryptic Haze was right before that. And he basically shows me different things and shows me what other people are doing so I can kind of know where I'm heading.
Yes.
How do you know him, Johnny?
Extremely insightful. Reason why I know McLean is that he published issue 1 of Sartana through CCP. He gave me my first opportunity in anything.
Really?
Yeah, in anything indie comics. So, like you, Paul, he was kind of one of my first introductory people into independent comics. And I used to work the CCP booth at New York Comic Con.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
Keith,
right on.
You know the spot you were in at New York before?
The corner one?
He used to be in that spot. I used to exhibit there with him.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's great, dude. I love it. Yeah.
McLean's
Small
the best.
world.
Big shout out to McLean.
Yeah, definitely.
Man, small world. No, is McLean based out of Texas too?
Yeah.
Yes.
He lives here in Austin.
What? Oh, okay. And Johnny, when you knew him, was he in Texas or was he like?
He was in Texas, but I met him through Joe Arnold, my artist, and then he would come up to New York, and that was the one time I got to see him. because we were, he was at New York Comic Con. So I'd come, I'd work the booth, I'd sell copies of Sartana.
Oh, wow.
I would just contribute to my part for CCP at the time.
Wow, dude. Such a small world, indie comics, when you really get into it,
Yeah,
everybody knows everybody. It's great,
Yeah, don't piss anyone off, right?
Yes, exactly. Behave. Exactly. But yeah, this looks great, Paul.
Thank you.
And I'm shocked that this is only like your second or third comic that you made,
It looks good.
Yeah, it really
like
does.
I said, 4 comics within 1 year. It's really it was really
that's
a goal
even
of mine.
Insane, man. That's
I mean, learning the process, learning the covers and the interior arts. I try to do the best job that I could. So
where did you did you self-teach yourself? Like, did you start just looking at comic scripts and
I did. Well, I don't want to say I self-taught myself, because the first thing I did, because I do suffer from dyslexia, was actually look for an editor. And I started doing interviews, and I got lucky and found an editor who was an Eisner Award-winning editor. And he kind of held my hand and told me what scripts to look at to study. He gave me books to study, and he started showing me the difference between the arts as well. And then, of course, McLean McGuire kind of came in that around that time frame and started picking up the slack that my editor wasn't exactly showing me. So between them and me pushing myself to self-study off of YouTube's and great channels that had hints and tips and stuff like that, this is the product that came out of it.
No kidding. That's
Nice.
that shows you like years ago when I was first starting to do comics, like there was nothing, and there was no internet either. It was like, you just kind of had to, figure it out,
Yeah.
But nowadays it's if you really got the drive, you can find so many resources and really put a comic together. You're living proof of that. It's amazing. It's awesome. Next book I want to look at definitely is Star Noir by Tony here. This book looks I mean, the artwork. Where did you find your artist, Tony?
I found him through a Facebook group called
Really?
Connecting Artists and Writers. I think it's what that's what it's
okay.
called.
Yep.
I just put a posting out, just doing this noir thing. His name is Pablo Debonis. He has his previous book was North Bend with Scout Comics.
Okay. So this guy's actually been published by a small publisher.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's great.
And I gave him the script for the first book. There are 6 books. I gave him the script for the first one. And he wrote back like a half an hour later, like, this is incredible. Like, we need to start working on this.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And
I gotta agree. It looks really good. I looked at this when you came on to do the 5 questions, and I'm a big noir fan, and I like sci-fi, so this is definitely speaking to me. But just looking at it with a critical eye, you got great lettering. The artist has great storytelling from panel to panel. Yeah. And the story looks really cool, really interesting. And I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah. What I like about the artist is that I give him so much visual information, and he found such a great way to make it his own. I mean, where the first murder takes place on the 6th Street Bridge, that bridge in Los Angeles doesn't exist anymore. And I ended up finding the blueprints for that, for the 1932.
Oh, really?
Bridge. And I gave it to him, so he was able to really put a lot of detail into that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and then the colorist Vin, he's from Brazil. He's done some IDW work for G.I. Joe. And he had this really cool idea to do this brushstroke style that made everything feel really vintage and up the time.
No, it looks great.
And the two together, it just looks incredible. Yeah.
Even the letter is bringing it. I love this panel for the aliens. This word balloon,
Yeah, that's Marco. He's from Italy. And what I like about Marco is that he is very the definition of understanding the rules and when to break them. Because, I study all aspects of the comic medium, and so he'll make a lettering choice, and I go, oh, it does. Well, according to this lettering book, why are you doing it like this? And then he has a very good reason for breaking the rule. So I'm really always fascinated by his ideas.
Well, you can always tell, a good letterist will become part of the team, like without
Yeah.
Like organically, you can always tell like when they're into it, and like these word balloons definitely look
that
way.
shows. Yeah.
Yeah, this looks like a great book, Tony.
It's
you said
solid.
you have 6 planned, you said?
Yeah. And I think what's great about this team is that we are very tight knit. We're all 4 of us feel very strongly about this book, and every time I reach out to one of them to like do new pages, they're very excited. And yeah, we've been just zipping through the existing pages really fast.
Awesome. How far along is the book?
It's 42 pages is the first book, so we've got about a third of it made.
Oh wow, okay.
Right on.
And then when are you expecting to deliver? Probably by the winter
April.
time? Or?
April.
Oh, April next year.
Yeah,
okay.
Yep. We got 7 days left to go.
Yeah.
$7,835 right
close,
now.
yeah.
So you got about a little over
push will get you
2,000
there,
to go.
Yeah. And
What'd you say, Johnny? I'm sorry.
I'm just saying that he's so close that there's always that end of the campaign final push, and that'll hopefully get you over the goal.
Yeah, there's like 300 project followers still, so it's this.
Oh, nice. Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So you get those last minute people waiting, to jump in.
Yeah.
Now, Tony, if you had to recommend a tier to somebody who wanted to jump in, who might be watching right now, what would you recommend?
Probably the Red Lipstick Murder, which is the top one. I really love the poster that we made out of the cover. The colorist, he came up with this idea to add this like effect where it made it look really weathered and vintage.
I saw that down
if you scroll down, it's near the bottom of the page, near the bottom of the campaign. There it is, right there in the frame.
Yeah, it looks great. Looks like
very cool.
Yeah, so it looks like it looks like it was pre-folded up already, but it's not. It's pristine when you get it. But I just love the way that it came out. When he first showed it to me, I was like, oh, that's the top tier for sure. And then you get everything else, with the baseball cards and the prints, and also we are really trying to go for a really nice printed book. We've nailed it with the story, we've nailed it with the art and the colors, and we really want to bring it home with like a really crisp book to hold in your hands.
Oh, that's great.
Nice.
That's awesome. Yeah, we got some. Let me see.
Can't wait to have it in my hands, man.
Oh yeah, you're gonna love it, Johnny.
Ben Soto says, "Wow, this looks amazing." So
right,
some more people.
Hells yeah, Ben.
Ben, thanks for joining us, buddy. Good to have you here. And let me see, someone. Okay, perfect. Yeah, no, this looks good, Tony. I like I said, I will try to get my bid in the next 7 days because I definitely want to check this out. I think this looks cool, and I wish you luck. I hope you hit it, and then I hope you're able to do the other 5 books as well.
I'm confident. This looks too good not to hit.
Yeah.
Johnny? How do you guys know each other? Did you guys meet at a creator?
So it was funny. I didn't recognize him at first from his Twitter, and that's the funny thing too. Is like I interact with people on Twitter, but I just know them as an icon, and then like I see them in person, and I'm like, oh, that's them. And like I met Tony before at the Creator AfterCon party I mentioned at the top of the show, and I just didn't make that connection until I watched the 5 questions video. I was like, oh, I've met him a million times before.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, it's a small world, like we were talking about. That's great. I just didn't know how well you guys knew each other and that kind of thing, So
through the AfterCon parties.
See, I don't, I started making comics back in like 2005, so I'm like an old fart now. I don't go to any of those after parties. I'm like that old guy, like get off my lawn, I don't go to any of that stuff, But I used to all the time, So I miss all these interconnections, That's why I think we do the show is, I get to meet all you guys on like a format like this, So,
right.
But yeah, and then definitely I want to take a look at Bigfoot Knows Karate as well here.
One of my favorites.
Yeah, now Johnny, you've read the book. What can you say about it?
And I hate to just repeat myself here and beat a dead horse, but very much Samurai Jack. It's very introspective at times, a little bloody, which I like. It's it reminds me of something that you would see on like if this was the 90s, it would be an MTV cartoon like the Mats. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
that's great.
Hell yeah, dude. That's the music right there, baby. That's the music to my ears.
Yeah, man. And like it's a really cool story, and it's got like, you know, Kung Fu Cthulhu, like that. What's not
Kung Fu Cthulhu, man?
Yeah, I
you
love
can't
it.
go wrong with Kung Fu Cthulhu.
Dan, the thing I like about even all the other books you were showcasing earlier too is like I love that you have like you know, like your stories tend to be not parody, but like you know, like kind of like fun, over the top kind of concepts. Like
Yeah, the original stuff was very much comedy, dick and fart jokes, pop culture, you know, Easter eggs and things like that. This is, I mean, while the title has a humorous tone to it, I mean, it's pretty serious comic. I mean, now mind you, there is a dick joke in the first issue. You know, you got to have at least one of those. But you know, the tone of this book is definitely different from anything else I've written. This is far more cinematic in scope. This is, you know, instead of just one-shot comedy comics, you know, we got a 5-issue arc we're working on, and yeah, I mean, look, it's like Godzilla versus Kong meets Kill Bill with a splash of Lost. You know, I mean, there's a lot of, you know, crazy stuff happening in it.
That's cool. So you're building up like a world and a mythology there too, on top of like the craziness, which is good. But
really,
you know, go ahead,
unique
Johnny.
art style too. It's just like that. Like I don't have a term for it, but like scratchy art style, I really like. You know.
Yeah, like cool. He gave me a link to show some of the artwork. Yeah,
this,
I love this.
I just scheduled this. This just launched on Global Comics just a minute, like an hour ago.
Nice.
A 3-page preview of the book. So
I'm gonna sign up for that.
Yeah, I definitely want to scroll through and show the audience this. This is great.
Sure.
I gravitate. What I was going to say is I gravitate towards kind of like these crazy concepts. I love them, you know. So
no, you have to click on it. It'll take you to the next page.
Here? Next release.
No. Click on the picture.
Oh, okay. Hang on. Oops,
there you go.
All right. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I see the Samurai Jack influence definitely. Even though you know, like I know you didn't copy it, but it's very reminiscent. Like I definitely, I love it. Yeah, this is cool. I definitely got to back you guys because I gotta check this out. I think it's something I would really like.
Cool.
Yeah, I love how crazy and over the top the characters are too, and yeah, this is great.
Thank you. So, yeah, it's been a blast. These are Electricante. They're based on Chilean Alicante, which is a cryptid from that region. There are a lot of cryptids in this book. You know, in the second issue, we have Chupacabra with a shotgun. We've got a thermonucleodon, which is a kaiju with missiles growing out of his back. I mean, there's all sorts of wild characters in this next issue. So
I always felt like Bigfoot was the true king of cryptids.
Right? Thank you. I'll go with that.
It seems like there's a lot of cryptid stuff, right? You know, comics right now that there never was a lot before.
Right.
You know? I see trends like that though. Like before that, I think I was seeing a lot of wrestling comics, you know, and then a lot of fantasy.
Everything on Kickstarter has a Cthulhu in it right now.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Like, Cthulhu is like way big, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
There's like certain themes you see a lot of, and it's usually all in one chunk, you know, right around the same time. And now cryptids, I think, is the thing right now. You know, like I'm starting to see a lot of cryptid stuff. But I love it though. I think they think it's a very untapped area of horror and creature stuff. You know.
Yeah, it's very psychological thriller, action adventure. You know, the story. And do you mind if I put my Kickstarter link, my notify page, in the chat or anything?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah,
thank you.
I also have it in the description of the live stream.
Oh, you're a peach, sir.
Yes.
I appreciate it.
Dan, can you share with us a little bit of just like what do you have planned for the campaign in terms of tiers, or you know what a recommended tier might be?
Yeah, so we're gonna do so last time we did regular editions of the book and deluxe editions of the book. That was a big draw. People really like those deluxe editions. Here's a copy of that right there. This was with the cover by Adam Caswell. It was this cover actually won the Master of the Comic Book cover from Comics Wellspring this year. So
really?
Cool. So that was pretty cool. So the regular edition of is going to be 33 pages for the new book, And then we're going to do a 44-page deluxe edition. May actually get a little bigger than that. But what that's going to be is it's going to have artwork from, sketches and artwork that I did, as well as some artwork from different artists that, are doing like pinups. And Adam is actually going to be doing a interiors on a side story that we're doing that comes between 2 and 3. So we're going to have some preview pages of that in there as well that will only be accessible through the deluxe edition. But you guys remember director's commentaries back on DVDs?
Of
course. I loved those, right? And so I always wanted to figure out a way, how do you do a director's commentary for a comic book? And I can never figure it out. Make printed magazine size with annotations everywhere. That seems obnoxious, and so I can never figure out how to do it. Well, we figured it out. So in the first issue, we did a QR code, and it took you to a private YouTube video where you could, here, I'll show it again, since I'm big. Well, whatever, don't worry about it. So it took you to a private video. And then we recorded it on Zoom, and we just did a screen share and showed the book page by page. Casey, myself, a couple other folks, and Kat, the High Heel Gamer from the Late Night Nerd Show, hosted the show for us. And we took like 2 hours and just broke down the book, because we sold this as a smash 'em up, punch 'em up book, but it was really, there was a lot more, narrative, a lot more story going on in there. So the the deluxe editions are great. Last time we also did commissions. I never take commissions, but I did 5 digital commissions printed to canvas, and those got snatched up real quick. And so those were cool. But we had 4 covers on the last one, 2 regular, 2 deluxe, and we're going to do the same thing on this one. So I'm actually going to offer an 8-pack for a catch-up. If somebody wants to get every cover that we did, they can have that too.
Yeah,
so
smart.
Yeah, I mean, and we do like mini prints and stuff like that with the variant covers and stuff. So try and make it worth your while and give you some extras. Throw in a sticker as well, and we'll do some fun stretch goals if we make it to stretch goal land. So we'll see.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
So the link is in the description if you guys want to sign up for Bigfoot Knows Karate. It's going live. You said a week?
Yeah, October 12th, 7:00 Central Time, 8 Eastern. So come check it out.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's right around when Star Noir ends, right, Tony?
Yeah. So back Tony, and then go right into
there you
Bigfoot,
go.
Doing both at the same time. There was a question for you, Tony, here from Harry. He was asking if does he stay in alien form, or did he disguise himself to look like a human detective, like Martian Manhunter?
Yeah, that is actually a great question. For a very good sci-fi reason that the story goes into. Everybody, Alan, the main detective, he can see Ellis's gray alien form, but everybody else sees somebody who looks more like Tom Holland.
Oh, okay. I like that. So does that give gives the detective like a little bit of like something going on? Like he has like a little bit of ability.
And actually, in one of the pages, he sees the captain talking to a gray alien, and then he runs into the office and just sees a young kid there.
Gotcha. Talking to Did you ever read And I love that when a writer does that. Like, do you ever read Steve Niles, Cal McDonald's books?
No.
So it's same thing, like not the same thing as yours, but like it's a detective, but like the typical like drunk, just barely a hero, like he's just more drunk, but he's got this one ability where he can talk to monsters, and that's that's what kind of like gives him like that little bit of like unique thing to his character, and like just adds to that detective stuff. I recommend that too. I recommend those books if you're looking for some noir stuff.
Yeah,
I think Dark Horse put a bunch of them out.
Definitely.
That's cool. But that's good. I like that. I didn't know that about the alien. I thought the alien was just there, like Alien Nation, like Johnny was saying, So that's cool.
Yeah.
My wife said I sometimes feel bitter about the new books because I've been into cryptids since 1986. Right? No, it's cool that there's a lot of cryptid stuff out though now. I like that, So I think it's a very untapped region of comics, where you can do a lot of stuff with, So any other projects you fellas got coming up after these, or are you just focused on these books right now, the books that you're doing?
Just focused on Star Noir.
I gotcha. Yeah. Well, 6 books. You gotta stay focused, right?
Yep.
How about you, Paul? Is this you gonna be on Booshie Boo for a while?
I'm not sure if I'm going into issue 3 or I've got another script that I really want to go into called Prelude to Aurora. And I'm kind of bouncing back and forth because I had somebody approach me about Booshie Boo. So I think I'm going to go into issue 3 just because of that reason.
Yeah, it's tough to say because, because I've been on the path with Mighty Mascots for like 5 years now. And it's like, I have other things that same thing. Like I have another mini series I never finished. I only did the first one, and then I have another
Kid
project.
Switch.
Yeah, Kid Switch. I'd love to finish that.
I love Kid Switch.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I'd love to finish that one, and I also have another one I'd like to do. But it's tough to go to those when like the one you're working on is the one people are interested in. You know what I mean? So it's
and my first one was the one that really took off and got hit. I sold about 1,000 copies in that first 3 months.
Did you really? Congrats, man. That's great.
Me being you, I really didn't know what that meant.
That meant a lot, dude. That's I think it took like 10 years to sell 1,000 copies.
Everyone's telling me to make a second copy of that or a second issue to that one. And
this is the PTSD. Do you have a link to that somewhere that you can share in the private chat? I'd like to see that book. You have it right there. Hang on. PTSD. Awesome. So now, was that an anthology or is it just one story?
It was just a one shot. Okay. With Booshie Boo, it was originally planned for 12 issues.
Okay.
And I really wanted to do something to show that I could put one story into 22 pages as a writer, basically.
Yeah.
And, with
that's
that,
good,
this was
man.
just going to be a one shot kind of thing. And like I said, it was a passion project that.
Right there is impressive that you were able to fit it into 22, would you say 24 pages?
22 pages.
22 pages. Like my first book, I think it was like 50 something pages. Like I needed an editor so bad. That looks good. That looks so good, And then, how about you, Dan? Anything else or are you just focused on Bigfoot for a while?
Well, I just finished. It's at the printer right now. Halloween Man meets Latex Avenger. We just got done doing.
Oh, is it
that.
Cool.
Yeah,
nice.
we did that. Myself and Drew Edwards from Halloween Man. We wrote that together, and
a crossover.
This is kind of his return to comics, maybe his last return. Latex Avengers, maybe his last book. Who knows? But Apollo Hernandez did the artwork on that. But Paulo's trying to get me to do another latex book. I have a Latex Avenger, Masters of the Obvious, Roasted and Fried All-Star Special that he read the script for. And he's like, I want to do this book. And I said, it's like 37 pages. I can't afford to do it. You know what I mean? For him to draw it, it's too much money. But I'm focused on Bigfoot. Really, that's the big thing. We've got the side book coming out with Adam doing the artwork. And so I've got to keep an eye on that. Casey's really kind of taking the reins on that book. And then as soon as this one's done, I fall right into chapter 3, so it's no rest for the weary, right?
Nice.
Stay on course, right?
Absolutely.
So are you trying to get 2 issues out a year, or is that about
I'm not in a rush. I got a full-time job that takes a lot of time out of my life and family and all that stuff, but so if we can, the side books were kind of designed so we could do 2 books a year, to have something in between the regular issues, keep interest up, and get some different artists in there to do some things. So that's the design of it, and also it just gives me some time to breathe a little bit and be able to draw a little slower and take my time with it, because I want to have a good time. If I'm just feeling deadlines all the time, that sucks. My life works around deadlines constantly, and I'm a deadline driven person, but I'd like to give myself a little bit more time, between the books. So right now I'm calling asked to finish.
Like that balance, you don't want to be away too long because people start forgetting, but you want to give yourself, you don't want to be pulling your hair out either, and working yourself to death,
No doubt. But can I say something real quick? George Medina's in the room.
George,
the Dream of Medina. What's up, dude?
What's up, dude?
What's up, man?
Yeah,
Love
George is awesome. Love
he
that
checked
dude.
me out last night on Nerds of the Round.
Nice. Good to see you, George. Do any of you gents do conventions? Do you guys do
Yeah.
Oh, nice, awesome. Anything coming up or?
I got Cowtown coming up at the end of October, and I'm here in Fort Worth, Texas, and I'm doing Abilene, Texas in December, I believe.
Awesome. How about you, Tony?
Well, I mean, going to New York Comic Con.
Nice.
I'll be there. I've got these neat little business cards that have
nice.
like
Oh,
QR
cool.
codes.
Yeah, great idea.
Cool, smart.
Yeah,
idea.
We'll take you right to the campaign.
Are you set up there? Or are you just going?
Just going, talking to people.
Nice.
And then once I have I have this Reloader book, this cyberpunk book, and then I have eventually I'll have the Star Noir book in my hands, and then I like to take both of those books to some local conventions.
Yeah, that's
cool.
Awesome. Yeah. I normally go to New York Comic Con every year to get a small press booth, but this year we decided not to do it. So hopefully next year, maybe I'll meet you face to face. If we go to the next show. Are you local in New York? Are you?
Yeah, Queens.
Oh, okay, perfect. Yeah. How about you, Dan? Do you do a lot of shows or?
My next one's Baltimore. So
cool.
I keep wanting to get to that show. I keep hearing that's an amazing show. And
yeah, I mean, I'm excited for it. I've got probably about 15 friends from Instagram who are going to be showing at that, got small press booths and, tables, artist alley, whatever, that are going to be there. So it's an opportunity to meet some people that I've been doing live draws with and gotten to know. We have each other's phone numbers. We show each other's work. And so, we're actually that'll be a lot of fun. And then I applied for Brooklyn Comic Con for 2023. So, making it up that direction. I've never done that show. I've never, I've seen some live video of it. Just seemed like it had a good vibe to it. So I'm like, screw it. It's an excuse to go to New York, man.
When is that show generally?
June, I think.
Okay.
June. Yeah. So I don't know. I figured I'd apply. Worst comes to worst, they say no, or I just decide not to do it and don't pay, and I don't send in my money, but at least I threw it out there. And I'm doing like a zine thing in January, I think. And, I don't know. I've never been to a zine show either. I figured I'd try a couple of stuff, but
that's different. I've never been to one of those either.
I know. I know a cat who's like on the board of this zine show, and he was like, please come and do this. And I'm like, yeah, sure.
You should, because those kind of go hand in hand a little bit, So I remember like when I was, I went to 1 year at Kubert School in Jersey, and we used to see zines all over, because we'd go in the city all the time, and they were, people were making zines all the time. It was just like the time, I missed that kind of like, that indie underground culture, like the New York, New Jersey area,
That's totally what SPX was when I was there a few weeks ago.
Yeah, like I love that stuff, But
I'm trying to
less and
travel
less
more
now,
no, I'm trying to travel more. I mean, I was in DC for Awesome Con this year, and I did Comic Palooza, and I'm trying to get out of Texas more. Not that I don't love my home state, but I just want to meet.
No, but your head's in the right spot though, because eventually, because I do a lot of shows, up here in the New England area, but eventually all those people see you, so it's like you kind of want to go to a different part of the country where no one knows your book, and and kind of saturate that area a little bit too, so Johnny's the world traveler from both of us here,
Well, I was just gonna say, for you guys, I highly recommend Terrificon in the New England area.
Yeah, all you guys should do Terrificon.
Yeah,
it's a big show, but the promoter has a strong focus on comics, so there's a lot of cool comic guests.
Very comic centric.
He does have the celebrities
that lure people in. Yeah,
he does have the celebrities, but he doesn't go overboard with it. So like, there's still like, there's a lot of comic people that go to the show, so it's definitely worth it. And I think that's probably the best comic show up here, besides mine. But like, Wicked too. Wicked is a good comic show too. Right now it is. We'll see how that one grows. I'm suspicious that one's gonna go the wrong way.
I knock on wood.
I'm hoping it doesn't, but we'll see. But I love that. We need more pure comic shows. So that's one thing missing, and it's hard to find too. So, but all right. Well, I'm going to start wrapping this up. We've been going almost 90 minutes, which doesn't seem like I start talking and everything kind of, goes like crazy. So I'm going to start sharing some links here in the chat for everybody. We had, let me see, DS Cartoon said That's how long cryptids have been around. I remember a friend of mine made a comic book series about them, but she only made one issue and didn't continue. So, okay. So maybe they've been around for a while. What did Amy say here? Cryptids have been around forever. Not sure when they first appeared in comics. My guess would be the Wendigo from 1973, although I'm not sure how close he was to the actual Wendigo cryptid. Yeah, I don't know. I think he was just a Hulk villain, right?
Yeah.
He wanted something cool. But yeah, let me share some things here. First, I'm going to share the order here. I have the link for Bigfoot Knows Karate, where you can, it's not live yet, but you can sign up and get notified when it does go live. Help Dan out, help Dan get more viewers of the comic, and or check them out live on Instagram. Like, follow them on Instagram.
Yeah, and please come to the live launch on October 12th. Love to have y'all there. We're gonna have a good time. The sooner I fund, the faster I drink. So just putting that out there.
Like that.
Watch me slur my freaking words. It'll be awesome.
So what time was that again, Dan? On the 12th?
8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central.
So we'll Keith, maybe we can go, start a little early on ours and slide into theirs.
So wait, when is
it? Go in theirs and slide into ours rather.
So wait, the 12th is that's on a Wednesday. Yeah. So
Next
what time
Wednesday,
was it,
yeah.
Dan? What time did you
8
start?
p.m. 8 p.m. Eastern, 7. We're going to be going at 7 Central, but we're going to go for like 3 hours.
Okay.
I mean, I'm scheduling like 2.5, 3 hours to do this. So hopefully it will be fun, and we'll have a lot of activity, and people will be stoked. And otherwise I'll be, just weeping in my tequila. So,
it's got to be a good tequila, like, Casa Nobles or, something real nice.
Oh, yeah, no, Casamigas, have you ever had that one? I haven't had that one, but
No.
there's if you ever at a convention, Johnny, we'll
get some tequila, my friend.
Hell
yes,
yeah. Hell yeah.
Definitely. I also shared the link to the preview pages on Global Comics.
Thank you for that.
Read a few pages and check it out, see if the book's for you. Second link I'm going to share is Star Noir, which is live right now on Kickstarter.
Yep.
Hook up, take a look at this campaign. This looks great if you're into X-Files, if you're into Noir. Tony's a good dude, and this looks like a great book, so definitely check that one out.
Tony, if I don't make myself have an extra drink on me, please.
I will definitely do that, but you definitely try.
The bus tickets are crazy. They're all sold out. Train tickets like 400 bills. It's nuts. But I'm going to see if I can find the last minute ticket.
Well, if you drive down, that's even worse, right? Because you got to find parking.
I don't want to drive down because I know
I don't blame you, dude. I don't blame you. And then Paul, is the only link I have really is for your Kickstarter. Do you have like an online store or anything?
I don't. I was actually with the publisher, and they kind of just let me go at the moment, and I'm in between. So in a few months,
where can people find you? Like, where are you active? Like,
I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Paul Gomez 790. I'm also hosting a show every Wednesday afternoons. So you can catch me on those platforms, definitely.
And you could also follow his profile on Kickstarter. Whenever he launches something, it'll pop right up for you. Or, if he backs something, you'll get a notification. You'll see what Paul's looking into.
There you go. I'll share the link for Booshie Boo, the Kickstarter here. So if anyone wants to do that, check out Paul's books. Scooby-Doo and the Circus. You can't go wrong with that, But yeah, no, these all look great. Anywhere else? Do you guys want to share any of your social media places, like the Instagram or anything like that?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at BananaBat.
Okay.
I actually I made a reel for Comic-Con that like went crazy viral just now. I had to like turn my phone off because it got like almost like 15,000 views and a 400 likes.
Wow!
Oh wow!
It was insane. I just took some like old footage that I had from previous cons and I just put it together. Yeah, that was crazy.
Wow!
That's wild.
That's great.
Yeah, and then you can find me on Twitter at T/J, the word /T/J. So
okay, Dan, how about you?
Right here. Dynamite 139.
Yep.
Check me out on Instagram and Twitter. That is my handle. I have a TikTok. I rarely use it. But also BigfootKnowsKarate.com. You can find all my social handles there. find the Kickstarter link. You can see there's fan art gallery there. There's, t-shirt shop with all that stuff. So, feel free to check that out too. But yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Awesome. Johnny, anything you wanted to share this
Yeah,
week?
I'm going to do a quick rundown of everything I'm backing that's live right now. I'm going to do a speed round. Ready?
Okay.
This is in the order in which they're going to be ending. So, first up, Star Noir, Book 1. Please back that. Cryptonals, Volume 1. Side Quest number 5. There's an alien in my toilet number 3. Midnight Highway 1 through 3. All in. Bloodwing Angel Chronicle Books 1, 2, and 3. Sharp Wit and the Company of Women. Path of the Pale Rider Issue 2 and Purple Eyes Volume 1. All live on Kickstarter.
Oh, wow.
Going on right now. Make sure you back it. And I also wanted to thank Paul, Dan, and Tony. Thank you for taking the time, coming on, sharing your creativity, and promoting your work with us. We greatly appreciate it. We'd love to have you back for the future.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
And
Had a great time.
I reiterate what Johnny just said. Love meeting you guys. You're all got awesome projects. So yeah, definitely come back. And I just wanted, before we close out the name, check out Mighty Mascots 7, 8, and 9. Still in demand on Indiegogo. And that'll be in demand for a little while. So, back these gentlemen first, and then come and
go back Keith.
Yeah, and then back me after that. All right. Any final words before we end this episode of Indie Comics Relay?
Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Thank you guys. All right, great. Everybody, me and Johnny will be weekly for at least the next, I think, 2 months from looking at the schedule. So,
Crazy.
So we'll be here every Wednesday night at 9. So definitely come back every week. We got some cool and exciting episodes coming up that I'm really looking forward to. And and I just read some comics. All right, everybody.
Be excellent to one another.
Yeah, exactly. Have a great week, and we'll see you next week. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.